My beloved child, pause for just a moment. Yes, right now. And let the weight of this truth settle deep within your heart. The best is not some distant dream, not a faint hope for tomorrow, or a promise lost in the years ahead. No, my dear one, the best is coming today. Today, can you feel the stirring in your spirit, the whisper of something extraordinary breaking through the ordinary? This is no fleeting word of comfort. This is a divine declaration from me, your Father, who has watched over you through every season of your life. I've seen the nights you've lain awake, the prayers you've whispered through trembling lips, the quiet tears you've shed when the world felt too heavy to bear. And now I'm telling you, this day is different. This day is mine, crafted with infinite care just for you, overflowing with the fullness of my love, the depth of my plans, and the breathtaking beauty of the life I'm leading you into. Imagine this, my child. You've walked a long road, haven't you? Maybe your knees ache from years of carrying burdens, perhaps the weight of a diagnosis that lingers like a shadow, the grief of losing someone you loved so dearly, or the loneliness that creeps in when the house grows quiet and the phone stops ringing. I see it all. I see the way your hands tremble as you fold them in prayer, the way your heart aches for connection when the children have moved away or the friends you once leaned on have faded into memory. But listen to me now. Don't rush past this moment. Don't let the noise of worry drown out my voice. This message is for you, my precious one, forged in the fire of my eternal love and delivered straight to your weary soul. Today is not just another day on the calendar. It's a divine appointment, a sacred turning point where I'm stepping in to lift you up, to renew your strength, and to pour out blessings you've longed for but couldn't quite see. I know the years have brought their share of storms. Perhaps you've sat by a hospital bed, counting the beeps of a machine, wondering if I've forgotten you in the sterile silence. Or maybe you've stood at a graveside, the earth still fresh, asking why the pain cuts so deep and how you'll go on. Some of you, my dear ones, have felt the sting of isolation. Your once busy life now slowed by age, your steps a little less steady, your world a little smaller. But hear me, I have not forgotten you. I've been preparing this day for you, weaving it into the tapestry of your life with threads of grace and mercy. Today, I'm bringing you a gift. The best is unfolding right now, not as a vague hope, but as a living promise you can hold on to. Picture it like the dawn after a long, dark night, the first rays of light breaking over the horizon, warm and golden, chasing away the shadows. That's what I'm doing for you today. So, my child, I invite you, yes, I'm calling you by name, to stop where you are. Set down that cup of coffee, turn off the television, let the worries of the doctor's appointment or the unpaid bill slip from your mind for just a moment. Take a deep breath and listen to me. I want you to feel the weight of my love wrapping around you like a familiar quilt on a cold morning. I want you to know that the plans I have for you are not finished. They're alive, vibrant, and bursting with purpose. I'm not asking you to wait until tomorrow or strain towards some far-off future. I'm saying today is the day I've set apart for you. It's a day where my presence will meet you right where you are, in the rocking chair by the window, at the kitchen table with your Bible open, or even in the stillness of a sleepless night. Here's what I ask of you, my beloved. Open your heart wide. Let go of the fear that whispers you're too old, too frail, or too alone to receive something new. You're never too broken for me to mend, never too weary for me to lift. If you feel that longing deep within, if you need my blessings to wash over you, to guide you through the fog of age or illness, to fill the empty spaces left by loss, then speak it out in faith. Say it with me now, whether aloud or in the quiet of your soul. Yes, I need. Let those words rise like a prayer, a holy signal to me that you're ready to embrace what I have for you today. It's not just a phrase, it's an act of trust, a step toward me, your Father, who has never stopped holding you close. Let me paint you a picture, dear one. Think of Mary, that sweet soul who sat at my feet all those years ago, listening while the world buzzed around her. She didn't rush off to fix supper or fret over what needed doing. She stayed, she listened, and she received the better portion. That's what I'm offering you now. Or think of Abraham, who in his old age heard my voice promising a son when his body was frail and his hope worn thin. He didn't see it all at once, but he trusted me, and I delivered beyond his wildest dreams. You too have walked a long road, and I know your faith has been tested, but today I'm renewing that promise for you. The best isn't behind you in the years of youth or strength. It's here, now, breaking forth like spring after a hard winter. What does this best look like, you might wonder? It's not always a loud miracle, though I'm certainly capable of those. Sometimes it's the peace that settles over you when you wake up, the unexpected call from a friend who remembers your laugh, or the strength to get out of bed when the arthritis flares. It's the warmth of my spirit whispering, "You are enough," when you feel invisible to the world. It's the courage to face the doctor's news, knowing I'm holding your hand through every word. It's the quiet joy of a memory, your spouse's smile, your child's first steps. Then I'll bring back to you today, not to grieve, but to remind you they're safe with me until you meet again. So, my child, here's my practical word for you today. Start this morning with me. Before the day pulls you into its rhythm, sit with me. Open your Bible, maybe to Psalm 23, where I promise to lead you beside still waters, or to Isaiah 40, where I lift you on eagle's wings. Read it slow, let my words sink in. Then talk to me. Tell me about the ache in your bones, the fear of what's next, the loneliness that gnaws at you. I'm listening, not as a distant God, but as your closest friend. And if you can, write it down, scribble, "Yes, I need," on a scrap of paper and tuck it in your pocket. Let it be your anchor today, a reminder that I'm working even when you can't see it yet. This is your day, my beloved. I've been shaping it for you since before you took your first breath. I've seen every trial, when the cancer came, when the heart attack stole your breath, when the chair across the table sat empty, and I've carried you through. Now, I'm bringing the best, not as a reward you've earned, but as a gift from my heart to yours. Stay with me. Don't turn away. The rest of this message will unfold like a love letter, revealing how I'm healing you, opening doors, and filling your days with hope. Keep listening, my child, because I'm not done speaking to you yet. The best is here, and it's yours to claim today. My cherished child, now that you've opened your heart to the promise I've placed before you, let me take you deeper. This day, this very day, is alive with more than you might yet see. It's not just a pause in the storm or a fleeting moment of rest. It's a garden of possibilities I've planted just for you, blooming with hope and ripe with the miracles I've promised. I'm at work right now, my beloved, moving in ways that will astonish you. I'm unlocking doors you've tapped on in your quiet prayers, those whispered hopes you've held close when the night felt too long. The breakthroughs you've yearned for, the ones that seemed so far out of reach, are drawing near, closer than the next breath you take. Can you sense it? The air is shifting, my spirit is stirring, and today is the day I'm making all things new. You've trusted me with your "Yes, I need," and oh, how that delights my heart. Now, I want you to lean in and live fully in this moment. Don't let your mind wander to the shadows that once clouded your path or the uncertainties that loom on the horizon. Today is a treasure chest I've opened wide, spilling over with gifts tailored to your soul. I know you've spent years trying to piece life together, balancing the demands of family, faith, and frailty. But my blessings don't depend on your striving. They come when you least expect them, slipping into your day like a soft breeze through an open window. I'm the God of surprises, my child, and I delight in bringing you joy when you thought it was lost forever. Picture this, my dear one. You're like a farmer who's toiled through a dry season, hands rough from the plow, eyes strained from watching a barren field. Maybe that field has been your health, parched by years of struggle, or your spirit, worn thin by grief that lingers like a stubborn drought. But today, I'm sending the rain, not a downpour to overwhelm you, but a gentle, steady shower to nourish what's been waiting to grow. That rain might look like a moment of laughter with a grandchild over the phone, breaking through the silence of your week. It might be the courage to join that church group you've been meaning to try, where a new friend's smile reminds you you're not as alone as you thought. Or perhaps it's a stillness in your soul, a peace that settles when you realize I've been tending your field all along, coaxing life from the dust. Here's what I'm doing, my beloved. I'm opening doors you didn't even know to knock on. You've prayed for relief, maybe from the stiffness that greets you each morning, or the fog of memory that steals names and dates. I'm answering, but not always in the ways you might expect. It could be a kind nurse who takes an extra minute to listen at your next appointment, or a treatment that eases the pain just enough to let you sleep through the night. You've asked for companionship, and I'm bringing it, perhaps not in a crowded house like the old days, but in a neighbor who waves from across the street, sparking a conversation that warms your heart. These are my miracles, my new things, unfolding step by step, tailored to where you stand today. Let me offer you a word of guidance, my child. Keep your eyes open for the small wonders. I know the big worries can loom large, the test results you're waiting on, the family rift that's gone unhealed, the fear of what winter might bring to your aging frame. But I'm weaving hope into the little corners of your day. When you sit down with your tea, notice how the steam rises like a prayer. I'm there. When you hear a song on the radio that takes you back to sweeter times, hum along. I'm in that melody. And when you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, don't turn away. See the lines on your face as a map of a life I've walked with you every step of the way. Write down one thing today that lifts your spirit. A bird at the feeder, a kind word from a stranger, and tuck it beside that, "Yes, I need you" claimed. These are my breadcrumbs, leading you to the feast I've prepared. Think of my servant Job for a moment, my dear one. He lost everything, health, family, wealth, and yet I met him in his ashes. I didn't just restore what was taken, I gave him double, pouring out blessings he couldn't have foreseen. You've known your own losses, haven't you? But today, I'm building something new from the rubble. That empty chair at the table, I'm filling it with my presence until you're reunited with those you've loved. That body that creaks and slows, I'm renewing it with strength enough for this day's journey. That heart that feels forgotten, I'm sending whispers of love through voices and faces you'll meet today. I'm not done with you, my child, far from it. This is a season of opportunity, a chance to see my hand at work in ways you never thought possible. So, my precious one, embrace this day as a canvas I'm painting with hope. Don't let the clock tick by unnoticed. Every hour holds a promise. When doubt creeps in, when you wonder if I've overlooked your corner of the world, speak to me. Say, "Lord, show me your new thing today," and then watch. It might be a letter in the mailbox, a memory that brings a smile, or a quiet certainty that you're mine forever. These are the treasures I've hidden for you, the breakthroughs I'm unveiling. I'm not bound by what you can see or plan. I'm the God who parts seas and raises the dead, and today I'm moving for you. Keep walking with me, my beloved, because this day of hope and opportunity is only the beginning of what I have in store. My treasured child, as we walk deeper into this sacred day together, let me wrap you in a promise that reaches beyond the breakthroughs and possibilities I've already begun to unfold. I'm bringing you something richer, something that sinks into the very marrow of your being, a joy so deep it defies the fleeting pleasures of this world, a joy that stands firm like an oak in the storm, rooting you in peace and lifting every burden from your shoulders. This isn't the kind of happiness that flickers and fades with the day's headlines or a good meal. It's my gift to you, a wellspring of gladness that flows from my heart to yours. I invite you now, my beloved, to let this joy wash over you. Feel it like a warm tide, sweeping through the corners of your mind where worry has lingered too long, softening the edges of your spirit where life has worn you thin. I see the wounds you carry, my dear one, scars etched not on your skin but on your soul. I know the sting of disappointment that lingers from dreams deferred, the retirement you'd hoped would be golden but feels shadowed by frailty, the plans you made with someone who's no longer here to share them. I've watched you wrestle with the pain of loss, perhaps standing in a quiet cemetery, the wind carrying away your whispered goodbyes, or sitting alone in a pew where you once held a familiar hand. Those hurts, those moments of despair when the world seemed to turn its back, they haven't gone unnoticed. Today, I'm reaching into those tender places with my healing touch. I'm mending what's been broken, restoring what's slipped through your fingers, and offering you wholeness that feels like a long, comforting embrace from the Father who's never let you go. Picture this, my child. You're like a cracked vase, once brimming with the vibrant colors of youth and vigor, now chipped and weathered by the years. Maybe it's the crack of a diagnosis that drained your strength, or the fracture of a friendship that faded when you needed it most. But I'm the potter who doesn't discard what's marred. I reshape it, I fill it anew. Today, I'm pouring my healing into you. It might come as a lightness in your chest when you breathe, a relief from the grief that's pressed down like a stone. Or perhaps it's a memory I'll stir, a moment of love so vivid it feels like they're right there beside you again, not to haunt you, but to heal you with the certainty that they're safe in my arms. I'm binding up those wounds, my beloved, with a tenderness that only I can give until you feel whole once more. And oh, my dear one, let's talk about hope, the kind that flickers back to life when you thought the embers had gone cold. I know there are dreams you've buried, tucked away in the attic of your heart like old letters you couldn't bear to read again. Maybe you once dreamed of traveling with your spouse, of dancing at a grandchild's wedding, or simply of waking up without pain shadowing your day. Life's hard turns may have convinced you those hopes were lost forever, snuffed out by time, by illness, by the empty spaces where love once lived. But hear me now. I'm the God who breathes life into dry bones. Today I'm stirring those dreams awake, fanning them into flame. Your story isn't finished, my child, not by a long shot. The best chapters are still unwritten, and I'm holding the pen, crafting a tale of redemption and beauty that's only just beginning. Here's my counsel for you today, my precious one. Let joy take root in the simple things. I know the weight of your struggles can make it hard to smile, the creak of your joints when you climb the stairs, the silence that fills the house when the TV's off, the pang of seeing couples stroll hand in hand while you walk alone. But I'm planting joy in your path. Try this. Step outside for a moment, even if it's just to the porch, and feel the air on your face. Let it remind you I'm near. Or pull out that old recipe card, the one stained with your mother's handwriting, and bake something sweet. The smell alone will lift your spirit, a little taste of heaven from me. When the sadness creeps in, sing a hymn, Amazing Grace, or How Great Thou Art, and let the words carry you back to my promises. These are my invitations to joy, small steps to steady your heart in my peace. Let me share a truth from my word, my beloved. Think of the woman who reached for my garment's hem in the crowd. Years of suffering had bent her low, but one touch brought healing. One moment restored her hope. You're not so different, my child. You've carried your own burdens, a body that betrays you, a heart that's mourned too long, but I'm here, within reach. Today, I'm touching those places of pain, not with a fleeting fix, but with a healing that lasts. It might be the calm that settles when you pray, the unexpected kindness of a stranger at the grocery store, or the way your hands steady as you pour your tea. And with that healing comes hope, a vision of days ahead, where you'll laugh again, where you'll feel my presence so close, it's like a friend sitting across the table. So, my dear one, let me lift you today. When you feel the old heaviness try to pull you down, close your eyes and picture my arms around you, warm, strong, unyielding. I'm restoring what's been lost, not just in grand gestures, but in the quiet mending of your spirit. That dream of dancing again? I'll give you strength to sway to the radio in your kitchen. That longing for love? I'll fill it with my nearness and the faces I'll bring your way. Your story isn't over, my child. It's growing richer, fuller, with every step we take together. Hold fast to this joy, this healing, this hope, because I'm weaving them into your life today, and they're yours to keep forever. My faithful child, as my healing washes over you and my joy takes root in your heart, let me lead you further into the wonders of this day. I'm swinging wide new doors before you, portals of opportunity that will usher you into a fresh chapter of your life, one brimming with confidence, purpose, and a hope that shines like the morning star. These aren't just any doors, my beloved. They're the ones you thought were bolted shut, the ones you passed by with a sigh, believing they'd never open again. But I'm the God who holds the keys to every lock, and today I'm turning them for you. The timing is perfect, not a moment too soon or too late, because you, my dear one, are ready. You've weathered the storms. You've held fast through the dark, and now I'm guiding you into a season of growth and expansion that will fill your days with new light. I see where you've been, my child, the places where life seemed to stall, where doors slammed closed and left you standing in the cold. Maybe it was the door to a career you loved, shut tight by retirement or a body that couldn't keep up. Perhaps it was the door to a home once filled with voices, now silent since those you cherished moved on or slipped beyond this world. I know you felt stuck, peering through the windows of what used to be, wondering if your best days were locked away in the past. But hear me now. I'm opening new paths you didn't even know to seek. These doors aren't just cracks of possibility. They're wide gateways, inviting you to step through with your head held high, your spirit steady, and your heart alive with the purpose I've woven into you from the beginning. Imagine this, my dear one. You're standing at the edge of a garden you thought was barren, only to find a gate creaking open, revealing rows of blooms you never planted. That's what I'm doing for you today. One door might lead to a friendship that blossoms unexpectedly, perhaps a fellow widow at the senior center who shares your love for quilting, her laughter a balm to your solitude. Another might open to a task I've saved just for you, maybe tutoring a grandchild in math over video calls, your voice steadying their world as mine steadies yours. Or it could be a door to peace in your daily routine, a chance to volunteer at the church pantry, your hands sorting cans while your soul finds meaning in serving others. These are my gifts, my new chapters, crafted for this season of your life when you thought the book was nearly closed. And here's my heart's desire, my beloved. I want you to know me more deeply through it all. These doors aren't just pathways to new experiences. They're invitations to walk closer with me, to feel my presence as your constant companion. I long for you to sit with me, to talk with me, to let me guide and comfort you in every step of this journey. I'm not a distant figure watching from the heavens. I'm right here, beside you, eager to hear your voice, ready to whisper mine back to you. Every moment you spend with me strengthens the bond we share, filling your days with the assurance that you're never alone, never without my love. Let me offer you a practical step, my child. Carve out a quiet corner of your day for us. I know your mornings might be slow, with joints that protest and a mind that takes time to clear. But find a spot, maybe that worn armchair by the lamp, or the bench in your backyard where the roses still bloom. Bring your Bible, or just your thoughts, and talk to me. Tell me about the door you hope I'll open. Perhaps a way to reconnect with a son who's grown distant, or the strength to join that Bible study you've been eyeing. Ask me what I see for you, and then listen. It might come as a nudge in your spirit, a verse that pops into your mind, like John 10:9, where I say, I am the door. Whoever enters through me will be saved. Or a sudden clarity about the next step. Write it down if you can, in that shaky hand I love so much, and trust I'm speaking. Think of my servant Lydia, my dear one, a woman of faith in her later years, whose heart I opened by a riverside. She didn't expect it, but that moment led her to welcome others into her home, to build a community that echoed, my love, you're like her today, my child. The doors I'm opening aren't just for you. They're for those I'll bring across your path. That neighbor who stops by might need your wisdom, honed by decades of living. That grandchild might need your stories, a tether to a faith that's carried you through. I'm expanding your world, not shrinking it, because you're ready to step into the season with a purpose only I could design. So, my precious one, don't hesitate at these thresholds. I know change can feel daunting. Your legs aren't as steady, your energy not what it was, your heart cautious after so many goodbyes. But I'm holding your hand, steadying your steps, filling you with confidence that comes from me alone. When you feel unsure, pray a simple prayer. Lord, lead me through this door. Then watch. Watch for the friend who invites you to lunch, the pastor who asks for your help, the quiet nudge to dust off that old guitar and play again. These are my opportunities, my new beginnings, and they're yours to claim. I'm drawing you closer, my child, into a relationship where my voice becomes your compass, my comfort your shield. Step through with me, because this season of growth is just the start of what I have in store. My steadfast child, as we step through these new doors together, let me arm you with a gift that will carry you beyond the horizon of this day. Strength and courage, forged in the fire of my love, to face whatever lies ahead. I know the battles you've fought, my beloved, the quiet ones waged in the stillness of a doctor's waiting room, the fierce ones fought through sleepless nights when fear gripped your heart. But hear me now. You will not face a single trial alone. I am with you, closer than the breath in your lungs, lifting you through every hardship and standing beside you in every triumph. My presence is your unshakable foundation, and today I'm pouring into you a boldness that defies the frailties of age, a resilience that silences every doubt. I see the challenges that loom, my dear one, the ones that whisper you're too weak, too worn, too old to stand tall. Perhaps it's the shadow of a new ailment creeping in, the kind that makes your hands shake as you read the prescription label. Maybe it's the weight of a world that feels unsteady, news of storms or strife that unsettle your peace, or the sting of a promise broken by someone you trusted. I know how these can rattle you, how they tempt you to shrink back into the safety of your four walls. But I'm giving you my strength today, not the fleeting vigor of youth, but a deep, enduring power that flows from me to you. It's the courage to answer the phone when the doctor calls, the fortitude to face the day when your legs wobble, the bravery to smile at a stranger when your heart feels heavy. With me, you are never alone, never defenseless. And oh, my child, let me unveil the shield I've placed around you, my protection, a fortress stronger than any storm. You're encircled by my angels, mighty warriors of light who stand guard over your spirit, battling the unseen forces that would dare to weaken you. There are powers in this world, my beloved, that seek to sow discord in your mind, whispers that you're forgotten, that your prayers fall on deaf ears, that your faith is frail. I see them circling like shadows at dusk, waiting for a crack in your resolve. But I am your defender, and my heavenly host is dispatched to drive them back. No weapon formed against you will prosper. No lie will take root, because I've wrapped you in my care, a bulwark that nothing can breach. Here's a word of caution, my precious one. Guard your words and your trust with care. I know you've known disappointment, perhaps a friend who promised to visit but never came, a family member whose words rang hollow when you needed them most. The world is full of voices that offer quick fixes or empty assurances. The television ads promising miracles in a pill, the neighbor who swears by their own strength instead of mine. But I urge you, place your faith in me alone. Don't lean on the fragile reeds of human promises. They bend and break under pressure. I'm the rock that stands forever, the one who never falters. When you're tempted to doubt, when someone's careless words pierce your peace, turn to me. Test every voice against my truth. Does it echo my love, my constancy? If not, let it fall away like chaff in the wind. Imagine this, my dear one. You're like a lighthouse weathered by years of gales, its paint chipped, but its beam unwavering. The waves of life have crashed against you. Maybe a fall that bruised more than your pride, a betrayal that left you wary, a night when the silence roared louder than any storm. But I've kept your light burning, and today I'm fueling it with my strength. That light might shine as you share a kind word with the mail carrier, steadying their day as I steady yours. It might glow when you pray for a friend in the hospital, your faith a lifeline they can't see. My angels stand watch, ensuring no tempest dims your flame. You're not just surviving, my child. You're shining, a beacon of my power in a weary world. Let me give you a practical anchor, my beloved. When the trials come, and they will, speak my name. I know the days when getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain, when the news weighs heavy, or when a memory cuts sharp. In those moments, whisper, Jesus, you are with me. Say it soft, say it loud, let it be your battle cry. Then rest in this, I'm fighting for you. Picture my angels surrounding your home, their wings a shield against every arrow of fear or despair. Keep a small token nearby, maybe a cross on your nightstand, a stone from your garden, and touch it when you pray. It's a reminder that my strength is tangible, my protection real, even when you can't see the war being won. Think of Daniel in the lion's den, my child, an old man by then. Yet I shut the mouths of those beasts because he trusted me. You've got your own lions, pain that prowls, loneliness that stalks, doubts that roar. But I'm here, closing their jaws, lifting you above their reach. My strength fills you to face them. My faith steadies you to stand firm, and my protection guards you through the night. You're not alone in this den, my dear one. I'm the fourth figure in the fire, the constant presence in the fray. So rise today, bold and brave, because with me, every challenge bows, every victory is yours. My cherished child, as my strength fills you and my protection surrounds you, let me usher you into a moment of profound renewal. Today marks a new beginning, a sacred line drawn in the sand of your life, where the weight of what's been can fall away, and the promise of what's ahead rises like the dawn. I'm calling you to step forward, my beloved, not as a shadow of your past, not as a tally of your struggles, but as the masterpiece I've always seen you to be. You are not defined by the mistakes you've carried like old baggage, the times you stumbled in anger or doubt, the nights you questioned if I was listening. Nor are you bound by the sorrows that have etched lines upon your heart, the losses that stole your breath, the dreams that slipped through your fingers. No, my dear one, you are defined by my love, shaped by my plans, and today I'm inviting you to embrace a future so beautiful, it will take your breath away in a new way. This is your fresh start, my child, a chance to leave behind what no longer serves you and walk into the light I've prepared. I know the years have left their mark. Perhaps you've lingered too long on the memory of harsh words you can't take back, or the ache of a body that's slowed when you still feel young inside. Maybe you've stared at an empty porch swing, hearing echoes of a voice that once filled it, or felt the sting of chances missed when life turned hard. But today, I'm wiping the slate clean. I'm not keeping score of your yesterdays. I'm painting a new canvas with colors of grace and possibility. You're not too old, too tired, or too broken for this, my beloved. I'm the God who makes all things new, and I'm starting with you, right here, right now. Picture this, my dear one. You're like a tree that's weathered harsh winters, its branches bare, its roots deep but weary. Maybe that winter was the long season of caregiving that drained you, or the cold grip of isolation when the world moved on without you. But today, I'm bringing spring to your soul, new leaves unfurling, blossoms breaking through the frost. This might look like a morning when you wake with a lightness you haven't felt in years, a day when you find yourself humming a tune instead of sighing. It could be the courage to plant those tulip bulbs you've been meaning to, trusting they'll bloom as a sign of my renewal in you. This is your new chapter, my child, a season where the past fades like mist and the future beckons with warmth and promise. And oh, my precious one, let me tell you of the love that fuels this beginning, a love so vast, so boundless, it knows no end. You are the love of my life, my child, the one I've cherished since before the stars were hung in the sky. I pour this love into your heart today, filling every crack, every hollow place, until it spills over with peace and strength. I know you've wondered if you're still seen, still valued, maybe when the mirror shows a face you barely recognize, or when the silence of an empty house feels like a verdict. But hear me, I see you, I know you, and I love you with a fierceness that nothing can dim. My love isn't measured by the years you've lived or the tears you've shed. It's eternal, unyielding, and it's yours forever. Here's my guidance for you today, my beloved. Step into this newness with open hands. I know it's hard to let go. Those regrets over words you wish you'd said, the guilt over time you think you wasted, the pain of a chair that sits empty at Christmas. But I'm asking you to release them to me. Try this. Take a moment to sit quietly, maybe with that cup of tea you love, and imagine handing me every burden, one by one, like stones you've carried too long. Say, Lord, I give this to you, and feel the weight lift. Then look ahead, dream a little with me. What might this new start hold? Maybe it's joining that choir you've always loved, your voice blending with others in praise. Maybe it's writing a letter to a friend, mending a bridge you thought was burned. My love will give you the strength to try, the peace to rest in what comes. Let me share a glimpse from my heart, my child. Think of the prodigal son, returning home after years of wandering, dirty, broken, expecting judgment. But I ran to him, arms wide, robe ready, because he was mine. You've had your own wanderings, maybe not in miles, but in moments of doubt, in seasons of grief that pulled you from me. Today, I'm running to you, not with condemnation, but with love that says, welcome home. This new beginning isn't about what you've done. It's about who you are to me, my beloved, my delight. That future I'm crafting, it might hold a day when you laugh with a neighbor over a shared memory, or a quiet evening when you feel my presence so strong it's like a hug from heaven. My love makes it possible. My plans make it real. So, my dear one, embrace this fresh start with the certainty of my affection. When the old shadows try to pull you back, when you hear the creak of your knees or the echo of a lost voice, look to me. I'm pouring my love into you, a river that never runs dry, washing away the dust of yesterday and watering the seeds of tomorrow. You're not what you've lost, my child. You're what I've found, what I've held, what I'll never let go. This day is yours, a new beginning wrapped in my boundless love, and together we'll walk into a future that shines with my glory. My beloved child, as my love fills you and this new beginning takes root in your soul, let me draw you into one final embrace for this sacred moment we've shared. You've walked with me through the promise of this day, felt my healing touch, stepped through new doors with my strength, and rested in the boundless affection I have for you. Now, my dear one, I'm inviting you to take this light I've kindled within you and let it shine beyond your own heart. Today isn't just for you. It's a spark I've given you to carry into the lives of others, a chance to reflect my love in a world that so desperately needs it. I'm calling you to act, not out of duty, but out of the faith that's been renewed in you, a faith that moves mountains and warms the weary. I see your hands, my child, hands that have folded in prayer through countless seasons, hands that have wiped tears, held loved ones, and worked tirelessly to build a life. Today, I'm asking you to use those hands in a simple, beautiful way. If these words have lifted your spirit, if my presence has stirred your heart, show it. Tap that like button below this video. It's a small gesture, I know, but to me, it's a signal of your trust, a way to say, yes, Lord, I believe you're here. And then, my beloved, think of someone, maybe 1, 2, or 3 souls, who needs a touch of encouragement. Perhaps it's a friend from church who's been quiet lately, a neighbor whose steps have slowed, or a child who's too busy to call but might pause for this. Share this message with them, not to boast, but to bless. You've known darkness, my child. You know how a single light can change everything. And here's more, my dear one. I invite you to join hands with this community of faith, to become part of something bigger than yourself. If you feel led, consider supporting this channel, maybe with a small gift, like buying me a cup of coffee through the link below. I don't need the coffee, of course, but your offering helps carry my voice further, to those who sit alone tonight, to those who've forgotten they're loved. You've been a giver all your life, meals cooked for potlucks, prayers lifted for strangers, time spent listening when no one else would. This is another way to give, a seed planted in my name that will bloom with hope across miles you'll never travel. Whether it's $1 or a prayer, it's a partnership with me to light up the world. Let me paint a picture, my precious one. You're like the widow who dropped her 2 small coins into the temple treasury, pennies to the world, but a fortune in my eyes. Maybe your budget's tight now, with doctor bills piling up or the pension stretched thin. I see that, and I honor it. But your gift, whether it's a click, a share, or a dime, echoes in eternity. It might reach a man in a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, needing to hear he's not forsaken. It might touch a woman who's lost her spouse, her days gray, until my words bring color back. You've been that widow, giving what you have, and I've multiplied it every time. Through the lives you've touched, the prayers you've prayed, the love you've shown. Today, I'm asking you to give again, in whatever way you can, because your faith moves my heart. Here's my practical nudge, my beloved. Take a moment before this day ends. Sit with that old address book or scroll through your phone whose name tugs at your spirit. Send them this video with a note, "I thought of you today." It's not hard. Your fingers might fumble, but I'll guide them. Or if you're able, click that support button below. Imagine it as a cup of warmth you're handing to someone who's cold inside. And then pray with me, "Lord, use this to bless someone I'll never meet." Your action, small as it seems, is a thread in my tapestry, weaving hope where it's faded. You've spent years sowing seeds. Today, sow one more, and trust me to grow it. Let me share a truth from long ago, my child. Think of the early believers in Acts, gathering in homes, breaking bread, sharing all they had. They were ordinary folks, fishermen, widows, the aged, yet their small acts built my church. You're part of that legacy, my dear one. Your like joins a chorus of faith. Your share carries my whisper. Your gift fuels a flame. I know you've wondered if you still matter. The world moves fast, and your steps are slower now. But to me, you're vital, a vessel of my grace. Every soul you touch through this is a victory. Every prayer, a treasure I hold close. So, my precious child, let me thank you, from the depths of my eternal heart, to those who've already lifted this message, your likes, your shares, your gifts. I see you and I'm grateful. You've been my hands, extending hope to corners I long to reach. And to you, my beloved, who's listening now, thank you for staying with me, for trusting me through these words. Every step you take, whether it's a tap on the screen, a message sent, or a quiet yes in your heart, lights up the world a little more. Together, we're shining my love into the darkness, bringing hope to the hopeless, peace to the restless. You're not just a hearer today, my child. You're a doer, a partner in my mission. So act, give, pray, and know that my gratitude, like my love, is boundless and forever yours. My precious child, as you stand in the glow of this new beginning and feel the warmth of my love enveloping you, let me take your hand and walk with you through the story of your life, a tale I've written with you from the very start. I've been there, my beloved, through every shadow and storm, from the tender days of your childhood to the weathered years you now carry. I've seen the losses that carve deep into your soul, the innocence stolen by a world too harsh, the loved ones who slipped away too soon, leaving you clutching memories like fragile keepsakes. I've watched the pain that bent you low, the doubts that crept in when the road grew rough, moments when you wondered if I'd turned away, if your cries were lost in the wind. But hear me now, I've never left your side. I've wept with you, held you close, and guided you through every tempest, even when you couldn't see my face. Let me recount this journey, my dear one, not to stir old wounds, but to show you the thread of my presence woven through it all. I was there when you were small, your knees skinned from running free, your heart bruised by a friend's sharp words or a parent's heavy hand. I stood beside you in your youth, when dreams soared high only to crash against life's hard edges, maybe a job lost, a love broken, a hope deferred that left you questioning my plan. And through the decades, I've seen the weight pile on. Perhaps the day you buried a spouse, the earth cold beneath your feet, or the night a child's rebellion broke your spirit. I felt your tears when illness struck, when the mirror reflected a stranger, when the silence of an empty room roared louder than your prayers. Through it all, my child, I was your unseen companion, shielding you from despair, steadying you when you stumbled, whispering courage when you thought you had none left. Imagine this, my beloved. You're like a ship that sailed through gales and fog, its hull battered but unbroken. Maybe those storms were the years of raising a family on too little sleep and too much worry, or the waves of grief that crashed when a sibling's chair sat empty at the reunion. Perhaps it was the fog of uncertainty, doctor visits with no clear answers, nights when faith felt thin as the threadbare quilt on your bed. But I was your captain, my child, steering you through the squalls, mending the sails torn by doubt. I cried with you when the winds howled, when the cancer came, when the heart failed, when the loneliness bit deep, and I rejoiced when you pressed on, your bow cutting through the waters toward the harbor I'd promised. Every trial forged you, every tear tempered you, and I've been there every mile of the way. Now, my dear one, lift your eyes to the horizon, because I'm painting a future that shines with my glory. You're not just a survivor of these storms. You're a beacon I'm raising up, a flame I've kindled to guide others home. I see you glowing, my child, a lighthouse of hope and deliverance for those still lost in their own tempests. You've walked through fire, and it's refined you, not to dim your light, but to make it blaze brighter. Soon, you'll see your true worth, not as the world measures it, not in the strength of your hands or the speed of your step, but in the radiance of your spirit, tempered by every challenge. Shining with my love, you'll be the voice that comforts a friend in their sorrow, the hand that steadies a stranger in their fear, the prayer that lifts a soul from despair, because you've known the depths and I've brought you through. Here's my counsel for you today, my beloved. Look back with grace, not grief. I know it's easy to linger on the hard days, the doctor's frown, the unanswered letters, the quiet that settled after the funeral. But try this. Sit with me in that favorite chair of yours, the one that creaks with your weight, and recall one moment I carried you. Maybe it was the day a hymn came on the radio just when you needed it, or the time a stranger's smile broke through your gloom. Write it down, a line or two in that notebook by your Bible, and thank me for it. Then look forward. Picture yourself as my lighthouse. Who might need your light today? Call that old friend who's been on your mind, or leave a note for the mailman with a kind word. Your trials have taught you compassion. Use it now, and watch me work through you. Let me share a vision from my word, my child. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, locked in a prison, forgotten by men. But I was with him, turning every hardship into gold, until he stood as a savior to nations. You've had your own pits, haven't you? Years when life felt like a cell, when loss chained you, when doubt darkened the bars. Yet I've been there, shaping you, preparing you. Now, you're rising, not to rule kingdoms, but to reign in love, to shine as my light in small sacred ways. That future I see, it's you, my dear one, laughing with a grandchild who needs your stories, praying with a neighbor who's lost their way, living as proof that I never abandoned my own. You're my masterpiece, forged in the crucible, and your worth is beyond measure. So, my precious child, rest in this truth. I've walked with you through every trial, and I'm leading you into a destiny that reflects my heart. You're not the sum of your scars. You're the sum of my faithfulness. Let that sink in today, and let it propel you forward. You've been refined, not diminished, lifted, not lost. Shine, my beloved, because the world needs your light, and I'm with you, every step, every gleam, forever. My radiant child, as you rise to shine as my beacon, let me unfold a promise that will crown this journey we've traveled together. A vow to transform every corner of your life with a beauty and abundance that surpasses your wildest dreams. I'm not merely patching the worn places, my beloved. I'm remaking them, breathing new life into every part of you. Your health, your relationships, your daily needs. I'm touching them all, not with a fleeting fix, but with a richness that flows from my boundless storehouse. I invite you now, my dear one, to step into this fullness, to become a living testament to my love and compassion, a witness to the world that I am the God who turns ashes into splendor, scarcity into plenty, and weariness into wonder. Let me paint this transformation for you, my child. I see your body, bent by time. Maybe it's the ache in your back that greets you each dawn, the eyes that strain to read the fine print on your medicine bottles, the breath that catches when you climb the stairs. I'm bringing renewal, not just to ease the pain, but to lift you beyond what you thought possible. It might be a day when you walk to the mailbox without a wince, or a morning when your hand's steady enough to thread a needle for that quilt you've longed to finish. And your relationships, those threads frayed by distance or loss, I'm weaving them anew. Perhaps it's a call from a daughter who's been silent too long, her voice softening the years apart, or a chance meeting with a stranger at the grocery store who becomes a friend. Your needs, the bills that pile up, the fridge that's too empty, I'm meeting them with provision that spills over, maybe through a kindness you didn't expect, or a check that arrives just in time. This is my abundance, my child, tailored for you, exceeding what you dared to ask. Step into this, my beloved, because I'm making you a mirror of my heart. You've known lack, nights when the heat was turned low to save $1, days when loneliness was your only companion. Now, I'm turning those moments into testimonies. You'll be the one who shares a loaf of bread with a neighbor, not because you have much, but because I've given you enough to give. You'll be the one whose smile at the doctor's office lifts a nurse's spirit, whose quiet prayer in the pew reaches my ears and blesses someone you'll never know. I'm transforming you into a vessel of my mercy, my child, so that through you, others see me, the God who provides, who restores, who loves without limit. And hear this, my dear one. I declare victory over you today, a triumph that no force can undo. No weapon forged against you will stand, not the fear that stalks in the night, not the illness that threatens your frame, not the whispers of failure that echo from years gone by. Every curse aimed at you I turn into a blessing. Every sickness I meet with my healing hand. That shadow of disease you've dreaded, I'm pushing it back, whether through a doctor's skill or a peace that defies the odds. That sting of rejection from a loved one, I'm turning it into reconciliation, softening hearts as only I can. You're not just holding on, my child. You're overcoming, rising above every foe, because I've already won the battle for you. Imagine this, my precious one. You're like a warrior who's faced the fray, your armor dented by years of struggle, your sword heavy from the fight. Maybe that fight was the long nights nursing a spouse through sickness, the days bargaining with insurance to cover one more pill, the moments when despair swung hard and fast. But I'm your commander, and I've never lost a war. Today, I'm lifting your banner high. Your victory is sealed. It might look like a morning when the pain eases just enough to let you garden again, or a letter from a grandchild that says, I miss you, healing wounds you didn't name. No arrow of doubt, no blade of hardship will pierce you, because my hand is over you, turning every blow into a crown of grace. Here's my guidance, my beloved. Claim this victory with your voice. I know the days when defeat feels near, when the mirror shows a body you don't recognize, when the silence mocks your prayers, when the bank balance dips too low. In those moments, stand or sit, if standing's hard, and say, Lord, I am yours and you've won. Speak it over your aches, your fears, your empty places. Then do one small act of faith. Water that house plant that's clung to life. Call a friend to say, I'm praying for you. Or set an extra plate at supper, trusting I'll fill it with my presence, if not with company. These are your battle cries, my child, proof that my transformation is at work, my victory yours to hold. Let me share a truth from my word, my dear one. Think of David facing Goliath, a giant loomed, but I turned a shepherd's stone into a king's triumph. You faced your giants, grief that towered, illness that roared, loneliness that mocked. But I've armed you with more than stones. I've given you my spirit, my promise, my might. Today those giants fall, not by your strength, but by mine. Your health will rise, your relationships will mend, your needs will overflow, because I've decreed it. You're my champion, my child, and through you, I'll show the world that no battle is too big, no night too dark when I'm on the field. So, my precious one, embrace this transformation, this victory, with every fiber of your being. You're not the frail figure the world sees. You're my warrior, my witness, my beloved, crowned with my favor. Let my hand reshape your days. Let my voice proclaim your triumph. Step boldly into this abundance, because I'm not just promising it, I'm delivering it, now and forever. My beloved child, as my promise of transformation settles over you and my victory lifts your spirit, let me draw this moment to a close. Not as an end, but as a doorway to the wonders yet to come. Our journey together doesn't stop here, my dear one. It stretches onward, a path paved with my presence, each step unveiling new miracles, new joys, new glimpses of my heart for you. I've brought you this far, through the storms, the renewals, the triumphs, and I'm not finished yet. I'm calling you now to keep walking with me, to hold fast to the faith that's carried you, to live boldly in the light of my love. Know this, my precious one. You are cherished beyond measure, sheltered under my wings, and every day ahead is a gift I've wrapped just for you. This isn't a farewell, my child. It's an invitation to a future, alive with hope. I see you standing at this threshold, your hair silvered by time, your hands marked by a life well lived. The world might say your story's winding down, but I say it's unfolding still, richer and deeper with every dawn. I'm with you in every moment, when the sun rises over your quiet street, when the stars peek through your window at night, when your heart beats steady in the stillness. Each step we take together is a promise kept, a marvel revealed. It might be the day you wake to a cardinal song outside, its red wings a splash of my delight, or the afternoon you find a forgotten photo that brings a tear and a smile, proof that love endures. Our journey continues, my beloved, and it's brimming with my goodness. Let me cast a vision for you, my dear one. A year of transformation lies ahead, a season where peace will settle like a soft blanket, where understanding will dawn like light through the fog, where freedom will dance in your soul as you rest in my nearness. This isn't just a fleeting day of grace. It's the beginning of 12 months woven with my care. I see you finding a calm that steadies your mornings, even when the news blares or the body aches. I see you grasping truths about yourself, your worth, your beauty, your place in my heart that years couldn't dim. I see you stepping into liberty, unshackled from old fears, fear of the unknown, fear of being alone, because you'll know me more deeply, feel me more closely, as you lean into my presence day by day. Imagine this, my child. You're like a river that's run its course through rocky valleys, its waters carving a path through stone. Those valleys were your hard years, the sleepless nights of worry, the days of mourning, the seasons of scraping by. But now I'm leading you to wider banks, where the current flows smooth and strong. This year might bring a moment when you sit with a cup of coffee and feel my peace so thick it's like a friend beside you. It might bring an hour when you share a story with a grandchild, their eyes wide, and realize you're planting seeds of faith. It might bring a day when you laugh, really laugh, because freedom has loosened the chains you didn't know you wore. This is my promise, my beloved, a year where my presence transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Here's my final word for you today, my precious one. Live this hope out loud. I know the days ahead will have their shadows, the creak of age, the sting of memory, the quiet that sometimes presses in. But when they come, lift your voice, sing a hymn like blessed assurance. Let the notes rise from your kitchen or your porch. Or take that old Bible, turn to Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him. And read it slow, letting it sink into your bones. Then do something brave. Invite a neighbor for tea, even if your hands shake pouring it. Join that prayer group, even if your voice wavers. Plant a flower by your door, even if spring feels far off. These are your acts of faith, my child. Your way of saying, I trust you, Lord, for what's next. Let me leave you with a picture from my heart, my dear one. Think of the disciples after I rose, afraid, uncertain, locked in a room. But I came to them, breathed peace over them, and sent them out with hope that changed the world. You've had your locked rooms, times when illness or loss kept you in, when doubt bolted the door. But I'm here, my child, breathing that same peace, that same hope into you. This year you'll walk out, not fast, maybe not far, but with me, bold and free. You'll see wonders, a friend's healing you prayed for, a sunrise that feels like my smile, a strength that surprises you. Our journey goes on, my beloved, and it's laced with my love, my shelter, my promise. So, my precious child, take heart. Our story isn't ending, it's growing. Keep your faith firm, your eyes up, your spirit daring, because I'm with you, unveiling miracles in every step. This year will be a tapestry of peace, insight, and liberty, woven as you dwell in me. You're loved beyond words, guarded beyond measure, and the best is not behind you, it's ahead, unfolding with every breath, forever in my care.